Let's explore for a moment together one of the affirmations from Swami Kriyananda's book, Affirmations for Self-Healing. And let's look at the topic that he's given us for today. It is consideration for others. And it's a very interesting one. Consideration for others is one of the marks of a refined spirit. Many people on the spiritual path feel that since it is within that they are seeking the kingdom of God, and since they are working at developing a spirit of non-attachment, it doesn't matter how they express themselves to others. Indeed, their very inconsiderateness is an affirmation of their independence of the opinions and feelings of others. They tell themselves, if God is pleased, what matters the displeasure of man? Yet by unkindness, we can never please God, who is all kindness itself. Sensitivity to others is a way of self-expansion. One truly achieves freedom in himself when he can respect their realities, because he is wholly at peace with his own. Now, Swamiji has opened many channels to this topic here, and it is, as he says, one that we can easily misunderstand. When we start a practice, any spiritual practice, one of meditation, let's say, we discover that in the beginning, environment is stronger than willpower, as Yogananda ji would say, that we want to protect ourselves. We want to stay in a positive energy. We want to avoid negative people who would influence us. And we don't want anything to affect our own peace of mind. Now, in the immature person, what can happen here is what we can call a spiritual ego starts to develop. And it's like we become selfish. We become inconsiderate of others, the very qualities which the spiritual path weans us away from, which leads us away from. And this comes through perhaps an insecurity on our own part, a desperate desire to keep our peace of mind, and perhaps some uncertainty as to just how we should relate to other people. Very often there are people in our lives, family members, spouses, children, parents, and others who we've related to in a certain way all of our lives. And now we've realized some new spiritual realities, and we begin to see weaknesses in ourselves that we want to overcome. And we begin to see weaknesses in the people around us. And there can develop, if we're not careful, a judgmental attitude towards those around us. We feel that, they're being unspiritual. They're keeping us from our spiritual pursuits. And another consideration is this period of lockdown, which we've been experiencing. Most of us are not living alone. We're living with other people at home, and perhaps we're around those other people much more than we are normally. Or maybe one or other of those family members who used to go off and be somewhere else during the day, now they're at home all the time underfoot. And those same people who we would behave very harmoniously with, now we begin to, now that they're with us all the time, we begin more of a judgmental attitude towards them, which is in every sense unspiritual and an attitude that we don't want to encourage. In fact, the spiritual path leads us in the direction of greater kindness, greater understanding of others, greater sensitivity to what their needs are. And this does not mean that their perceived needs take precedence over your own peace of mind, or that we should surrender to unreasonable demands placed upon us. Rather, the spiritual path makes us stronger. But beware that that increased strength should not encourage, the growth of an attitude of arrogance, an attitude of judgment. Rather, we gain a sense of humor about our own weaknesses and the perceived weaknesses of others, not laughing at them, but laughing together at this human condition, which is, at the best of times, can be comical. Swami Sri Yukteswar said to his disciples, he said, learn to behave, learn to act appropriately in every given situation. The spiritual path does not mean to ignore the people and the world around you. It means to gain strength in yourself so that you are not unduly influenced by those around you in a negative way, but gain greater sensitivity, gain greater refinement, so that you can see everyone as a child of God. And someone who may irritate you at times, we learn to see the highest in that person. Relate to that highest, relate to the soul, not to the human mind that makes many mistakes and has judgments and irresponsible attitudes. Rather, look to the soul of that person and encourage the best to come out of that person, rather than judging and seeing their weaknesses. We want to, as Swamiji says here, God is all kindness itself. Sensitivity to others is a way of self-expansion. When we learn to accept and love ourselves, we learn more and more to accept and love those around us. One only truly achieves freedom in himself, Swamiji says, when he can respect others' realities, because he is wholly at peace with his own reality. We need to develop our own inner strength, our own inner peace of mind, and then we act from that from that center of strength, from that center of inner peace, and we act in a way that's more and more kindly towards others. We treat them with greater understanding. We treat them as a divine friend. We can treat total strangers as divine friends. This was something that Swami Kriyananda did in his own life. Wherever he went, he made friends because he saw the highest in people. He treated people with respect and kindness because he spoke to the God within them, and that is what he saw. The affirmation with this consideration is, by sensitivity to others' realities, I keep myself in readiness to perceive the truth, no matter what garb it wears. So Swamiji introduces here another element, and that is the truth can come from anyone around us, including the most ignorant, or as we perceive them. And when we become more and more sensitive to others, then we open ourselves to them, and we open ourselves to listening to God through them and the messages that God has for us that can come through others around us. Let's repeat this affirmation together with lots of energy, in a loud voice, with conviction. By sensitivity to others' realities, I keep myself in readiness to perceive the truth, no matter what garb it wears. Now repeat after me in a quieter voice. By sensitivity to others' realities, I keep myself in readiness to perceive the truth, no matter what garb it wears. Now whispering only, by sensitivity to others' realities, I keep myself in readiness to perceive the truth, no matter what garb it wears. Now let's bring this thought, this affirmation into the superconscious and repeat it only mentally. Deeply repeat it. Make new mental grooves in your mind. Repeating mentally, by sensitivity to others' realities, I keep myself in readiness to perceive the truth, no matter what garb it wears. By sensitivity to others' realities, I keep myself in readiness to perceive the truth, no matter what garb it wears. Now let's mentally listen to this prayer. Divine Mother, I worship Thee in all Thy forms, both ignorant and wise. Finding Thee within, may I behold Thee enshrined in omnipresence. Here Swamiji is saying that I worship God, I see God in every form, in everybody, both ignorant and wise. and finding God within, may I behold God enshrined everywhere. May I see God in every soul. Thank you so much for joining this evening.